On a sunny Saturday morning, little Julia woke up with a sparkle in her eyes. Today wasn't just any day. Today, she was visiting the famous dolls store in town. The store was known for its incredible collection of dolls. Dolls of different shapes, sizes, and even personalities. Julia was bursting with excitement and could hardly contain her enthusiasm. As she walked into the store, she was greeted by a friendly shopkeeper named Mr. Oliver. He had a twinkle in his eye and a smile that made Julia feel instantly at home. "Welcome, Julia. Are you ready to explore the most magical doll store in the world?" he asked. Julia nodded eagerly. The store was a wonderland. Shelves stretched from floor to ceiling, filled with dolls of all kinds. There were rag dolls, porcelain dolls, and plastic dolls. Some were as tiny as a thumb, while others were almost as tall as she was. Each doll seemed to have its own story waiting to be discovered. Mr. Oliver guided her to various sections of the store. "This is the historical section," he said, pointing to a row of dolls dressed in outfits from different time periods. There was a Victorian doll in a beautiful lace dress, a medieval knight doll in shining armor, and even an ancient Egyptian doll with a tiny gold headdress. Julia couldn't believe her eyes. "And over here," Mr. Oliver continued, "we have the fantasy section. This part of the store had dolls that looked like they had stepped out of fairy tales. There were mermaids with shimmering tails, fairies with delicate wings, and even a dragon-riding princess. Each doll was more magical than the last." Julia felt like she was walking through the pages of a storybook. As they moved to the next section, Julia saw something that caught her eye. It was a group of dolls that looked like they were from different countries around the world. "These are our multicultural dolls," Mr. Oliver explained. "They come from places like India, Japan, Mexico, and Nigeria. Each one is dressed in traditional clothing and has unique features." Julia was fascinated. She picked up a doll in a kimono and marveled at the intricate designs. "They're like little ambassadors from each country," she exclaimed. Mr. Oliver chuckled. "Exactly. Dolls can teach us so much about different cultures." Next, they visited the interactive section, where dolls could talk, sing, or even dance. Julia pressed a button on one of the dolls, and it started singing her favorite song. She couldn't stop giggling. "This is amazing," she cried. "It's like they're alive." Mr. Oliver nodded, pleased with her excitement. Finally, they reached the craft section, where Julia could make her own doll. There were stations with all kinds of materials, fabrics, buttons, yarn, and more. Julia sat down and got to work. She chose a soft pink fabric for the body, sparkly buttons for the eyes, and yarn for the hair. As she stitched and glued, Mr. Oliver sat down next to her. "You know, Julia, a doll is more than just a toy," he said. "It can be a friend, a teacher, and even a storyteller."